And it all started during the Blue Bus tour in India. Sri Meher Baba's tour of 9 days through central India by Princess Norina Matchabelli. In October 1937, while still in Europe, Baba called me and said, "We shall return soon to India, and there I want you to join me on a trip through certain cities. I want you to see me at work there as you have seen me at work here." When Baba says to do a thing, that is the moment when he wants it to be done. And when he wants it to be done, that is the time to do it. So it happens that he drew out the following itinerary of this 9 days trip on the west coast through central India. We are to leave Mehrabad on December 20th, 1937. And we stop at Talegaon, Bombay, Navasari, and Nagpur, returning to Mehrabad December 30th. The trip is to be started on the days prescribed a long time ahead, on trains which Baba personally selects so as to reach the places in time where he needs to be for his work. On this 9 days tour, Baba makes himself available to man. He calls on man to be in readiness, whether he encircles the globe or designs in no time a huge, extravagant expedition to the south of France. It is to call on man to stir the spiritual want, to renew an atmosphere, the swinging show of divine love. He gives appointments ahead to see X on such a date at a definite hour for a minute or two, as the case may require. Once he took the most rapid express through Europe, enduring the physical strain for 18 hours ride to see for a few moments a child. He goes to Talegaon to see two brothers. In Nagpur, he is requested to see the masses. Whether it is to adjust small family troubles or to advise a huge cosmopolitan assembly of men in search of truth, or to hold alive for a few days longer a soul that has to transgress life, he stages his work in time. No matter the method and no matter the proportion of reward in visible faith awakening, no matter if he will be recognized, he is sure to want in them the truth. He does in work, in life, in being, the awakening, places and circumstances whichever suit his show.
Talegaon, the 20th of December, 1937. This little village is the first stop on our tour. There happens to be a short pause in activities when Baba comes to my room and orders me to start writing my impressions from the time we left Mehrabad. That same day in the morning, it is now afternoon. Wherever Baba goes, he holds at first a general revision of the home. He walks through the room. He walks from room to room into the kitchen, the servants' quarters, the stables, the gardens. He takes in people's troubles and small disputing worries. And if there's a cat or a dog, none are left out. His huge universal heart and hand must at once feel out the state of affairs of every one and everything. And so it happens that Baba designates for each of us the room where we are to spend the night. Walking along the terrace, Baba stops before the small entrance that has hanging over the door the insignia of courtroom. He turns around and looks at me with a certain sense of humor, showing me this tiniest courtroom in all the world, where telegram disposes of its rights and wrongs. This room has been turned into a bedroom for the occasion, and Baba, with humorous delight, offers it to me for the night. Before I describe the exquisite hospitality of these dear, wonderful people, A, the Honorable Magistrate, and Mrs. A, his wife, our perfect hostess, will return to the I will return to the initial start of our trip. We leave Mehrabad at 6 a.m. precise. The sun is quietly rising behind the distant hills of Chanbibi, where lived the daring Mohammedan queen in the past history of Ahmednagar. Our road leads via Pune. We motor along the soft curving mountains I know so well that it encircle the distant horizon of Mehrabad, and which we contemplate every evening in Baba's company at sunset. The atmosphere is still and blue at this early hour, and all seems to function right in its own experience. We passed white bundled figures, herding goats, lazy dogs, abandoned in their own struggle of life, lying around within the boundaries of a tiny village. Baba, looking at all these small lives in poor huts, says, "How I love all these." We approach Pune. In the distance, we recognize the landmark of the white-towered turf club with its elegant gates, and we all make the wish to see Baba's childhood home. Baba willingly accepts the plan.
It is 8 a.m. when the car gently swings into a small lane and stops in front of a large, comfortable-looking house. Adi, Baba's brother, accustomed to surprises, hearing the familiar sound of the horn, walks out leisurely to greet us, holding in his deep emotion, humbly prostrating himself to the ground, takes darshana from his unique brother. Baba's mother, cheering us cordially from behind the curtain, apologizes for not being dressed to play up to the occasion. But Baba, who times with measure unfathomable, does not wait. He rushes us out of the main house over to the other side of the lane, where at the joining point of 3 streets stands a smaller house, Baba's childhood home. The house apparently is not in use, although the windows and the shutters seem to be newly painted blue. With great animation, Baba himself opens the door. The inside is empty, the atmosphere clear, quiet, and full of awe. There are 2 rooms on the ground floor. To one side of the entrance is a circular wall forming a bathing space where little Merwan used to be given his ablutions. Thus told us the mother, who meanwhile has arrived. Baba makes the following statement. One day, men from all parts of the world will come on pilgrimage, and we shall witness then, as we do now, the miracle of his blessed life. The miracle is in him a presage of divine order. What is presage? A presage. The miracle is in him a presage of divine order since age and time. But no one is the pure one without the divine creation plan of martyrdom having been fulfilled to the end state. So in childhood, he was pure, real, good, and unselfish always. Little Merwan was also full of energy and fire, giving fun and joy to all.
A small vertical stepladder leads to the upper floor. Baba shows us the way, we follow. We stand in a chamber-like space, crushed under its low ceiling. Here Baba used to spend those significant hours in anguish, waiting to descend to make himself available to mankind as the pure human, as the divine experiment in its fulfilled order in being, in truth. Here he remained aloof in his divine, selfless state in mind, still, unself-conscious, and too often disturbed by good friends and members of the family, especially by his good mother, who did not trust his unfathomable state above mind and wanted to keep him the same as he was before. Merwan, her precious son. So she tried to do her best to hold him down closer to her by making him eat specially well-prepared earthly food. Baba, wistful and joking manner, wanting to make us acquainted with facts, describes how he used to hide the food, which was too heavy for him to digest, by hiding it in an old drawer and then into his pockets at nighttime when he would leave the house and deposit it somewhere in the street for hungry dogs to eat. Overwhelmed by the atmosphere of many sacred memories, we are carried away, feeling the conscious contact with him present, he the life, the God-realized man. The divine theme seems vast against the trivial background of small facts. With sudden changing mood, Baba bids us quickly climb down and return to the main house. He makes us walk through all the rooms which at present are occupied by his mother, Shireen Mai, Adi, his younger brother, and his brother Bayram's family. The house is comfortable and roomy and neatly kept. Baba is intensely amused. He wants to show us more. We rush on to the courtyard. There is the famous well with its excellent water and the big tree that Baba recognizes as an old friend. The connecting smaller houses encircle this garden and at present are occupied by strangers who all are very well acquainted with the saintliness of the place. At the other end, Baba points to two doors carefully locked with huge chains and padlocks. Mother, who is a little anxious to dramatize the past, of the adolescent god, says, this was his prayer chapel. But Baba, interrupting her, discreet as usual, explains, here I have spent many hours in solitude, and in that room, pointing to the other door, Gustaji, then his colleague, now his disciple, kept vigil.
We returned to the main quarters, but before leaving the house, Baba pauses at the doorway. He seems to be absorbed in his childhood memories, and then suddenly says, here, when I was a small boy, I used to play wild games with my chums. How those smart fellows
Small.
Oh, huh. I was thinking, I'm thinking, oh, smart fellow felt smart. Oh, you. How those small fellows who, then in no way conscious of his unfathomable being, dared to touch him in their boyish, crude manner, and experienced in furious adversity their childish games. But how he loved them, how he, already then, although unconscious of his powers, was pouring joy and divine love, and how, for all that he has been adored, beloved, and intuitively followed. At that time, Merwan was full of fun and mischief, but knowing and wise. His word even then was accepted. People around used to listen to the charm of his voice with its incomparable sweetness. The unfathomable life in him drew from the divine source and created thrill of indivisible love, unselfish affection, and friendship in so many. Baba's arrival and departure is always quick, but deep in its effect. We are ordered to leave, and without special ceremony, we wave goodbye through the window of the car and speed off to Taligawan, our next halt. Baba arrives at Taligawan as the executive modern factor in being order of truth, who comes to work facts of truth.
We have reached Telegaon. Sri Meher Baba seems, as usual, to want to avoid formalities and ceremonies. Therefore, the welcome of the unique guest has to be rushed and hushed. While Baba accepts the beautiful garlands, hastily walking through the little garden, he lifts them off. The garden is sweet, filled with multicolored flags waving us welcome. Baba enters his room, the usual quarters prepared for him on the occasions of his rare visits. At once, Baba, in his executive manner, calls for the different members of the family, the two brothers-in-law, the hostess, and also R, her brother from Nasik. Baba's order was that during this visit to Telegaon, he would not see crowds of people, but when A lays before Baba his practical viewpoint that it would be better to see a few important men and a few of his best clients who were clamoring for Baba's darshana, and give them a chance to meet his august guests. Baba leniently smiles, stating, do as you think best. This he often does. Baba came specially to look into the personal affairs concerning the two brothers who are partners in business. It seems there is much to adjust between them. All these small or huge complications are the usual nightmare in the mind of man, that he, the true friend of man, will take on to him in compassion, dissolve, and readjust. A perfect luncheon is served at 11 a.m., cooked by the hostess's own hands. On such occasions, it is customary when the master visits his disciples, and it is a sign of deep respect for the disciple to cook and serve the meal for the master and his party, regardless of their number. It is a demonstration of selflessness and devotion.
The program for the afternoon is to motor to the Meher rice mill, the ancient fortress of Taligawan, which Baba never misses to see, and the glass factory. The excursion had its reason. When Baba moves, heaven and hell moves too. The first stop is at Meher's rice mill, not far from the official residences, including missions, bank, post office, etc. The mill is a huge shack, but to visit the rice mill is not the only reason for Baba's appearance. There are two black-eyed, joyous young men, simple workmen, whom Baba loves dearly, very dearly, who have also to be looked up from time to time, and whom he has to touch and to stir to enhance their spiritual courage, look into their eyes, and renew his own life in them. Baba takes in the whole work and leaves behind that unfathomable smile, which is so sure and real and good and makes everyone feel sure and real and good. We drive on to the fortress. It has the appearance of an ancient, gigantic monument, huge forms towering over other forms in ruin seem the work of some giant of obscure age. Fallen trees, jungle-like vegetation, bright, shining, strange-looking flowers filled with venomous juice, parrot-like birds, all seem to live with and against one another in natural excitement of life. All of a sudden, Baba takes a running flight to the far end of this wild jungle garden. There, like a majestic solid mold in human form, he stands still, right in the center of the red, gold, purple, and blue circle of light of the setting sun. He, the truth being in existence, throwing the divine shadow on its own phenomena, the setting sun in Taligawan. Again, we realize how the smallest adventure can become a spiritual romance when with him we walk through life. We leave feeling light and refreshed. Our next halt is at the glass factory. Baba's wish for us to see this little establishment is very definite. We walk in, and it was as if we were passing from process of making. We see light, fluid matter, which in its process through fire becomes solid glass. We see a potter taking inarticulate matter, making a form which it itself is art. We see the God-man forming men and expanding souls. The two young workmen came to Baba's darshan. They realize that Baba's coming has a meaning, and they live up to the occasion with humility. Also, these two humble worshippers, whether conscious or unconscious, belong to the spiritual pioneers of mankind and are destined to participate in the new awakening, whether in Taligawan or New York, in Paris or in Palestine, which Baba today governs.
We return home. A line of people are already waiting in the garden. Meanwhile, the weather, unusual to its season, suddenly changes. It is bitter cold, and all the preparations for the evening feast, which was to be held in the garden, has to be abandoned. The little living room has to be quickly transformed into the holy place. To do this is easy because wherever Baba is, a barren space becomes life, light, pure air. These virtues replace in beauty the external seductions. The music is heard from the garden, while in still reverence, a few devotees are sitting at Baba's feet. Whether good or bad, self-important or unimportant in social position, we see men, women, children kneel and bow, making the cross in the order of Christ, or prostrate themselves in other religious manner, in experience of pain or joy before this grace and being, who never did but smile. Without giving more attention to the postmaster or the banker or the owner of the best shop or the schoolmaster than to any soul in need. He takes in close into his pure heart all life. Poor or destitute, hungry pilgrims of different castes, for all, he, impartial, pure, is the same sign of divinity for whom these intrepid seekers for truth cross rivers, valleys, and mountains, taking endless roads on foot. It is a rush toward God, soul, and happiness. The procession goes on until late.
We are now all ordered to retire to our rooms. The night is good, quiet, and without dreams for all of us, but for one who is restless all night outside of Baba's door waiting for grace, merged in excited anguish of his struggling mind. At the right moment, Baba opens the door. It is 4 a.m., and A's brother-in-law walks in, quiet, unconditional in acceptance. The wakeful night in front of the master's door has changed him into a new man. He is ready to realize what, in the struggle of his mind the day before, he was unable to understand. Later, the judge, his wife, and all of us are called into the room to witness the turning point. It happens that all come out right. Everybody feels sure and is ready to give in. The peacemaker has reconciled the differences. Each one realizes in his appeased mind that within all differences lies truth disguised. We realize that the impersonal standpoint begins to be of use to us when in being we awaken, leaving behind order, clarity, peace of mind. Baba gives signal to depart. We speed on to Bombay. It is the 21st of December. The air is nice and cool. Quiet and blue is the range of the romantic mountains where Shivaji, the king and great warrior, destroyed the Mohammedan enemies who fought against him.
In Bombay, Baba is given quarters in the home of a close disciple on Frere Road. Many people are already waiting in the long corridor when Baba, in his real executive manner, at once seeing the need in the hearts of these many, begins to open the eternal well of his great curing life. While watching the questioning anguish of all these people who call for grace, it seems as if now mankind's ordeal has come to some climax in suffering. Again, in unending compassion, unending compassion and patience, Baba takes on the human struggle and makes light and fluid hope in everyone's heart. We are invited for luncheon to the home of C's brother. The reception is cheers of merry love. The house is filled with young and old people and children who, in their natural simplicity, respond lightly and unhampered to Baba's love. Among the events during this gathering, we wish to recall a little anecdote. A charming young Parsi mother asked to be received as soon as possible because she can no longer control her very bad-tempered Baba. This little 2 weeks creature, the mother tells, is subject to fits of anger so fierce that it is a torture to all who have to witness. The child is as small as a doll, unusual in size, but almost perfect in its tiny proportions, to be compared to a small edition of Krishna or Ram or any god of some other name. Baba has been informed of the difficult case, but for good reason creates suspense. The atmosphere catches his peace rhythm, and in it suddenly the child grows calm. The drama, handled with discretion and care by Baba from a distance, indeed works pure and deep. The child falls fast asleep. After a while, Baba calls for the mother and the little one. When he takes the child into his arms, under his look, the child's eyes open. The meeting of the soul with the all-soul was sure. The divine dream, as in a fairy story, the child must have experienced. The sign of grace is on the little face. It is the blissful glow that we in him worship. Never shall I forget the beauty of the miracle of that child's face. Never have I seen the limitless soul radiate in so small a form. The mother, who is well aware of the powerful unseen work of Baba, when going out of the room, carries the child up high like a glorified idol, herself having the unique expression of unquestioned faith.
We return to Frere Road. Several of Baba's disciples have arrived from various places. Among them are who left Mehrabad at the time of Baba's last trip to Europe. Not wishing to be there during Baba's absence, he accepted the call to teach in a girls' school in Bombay. R appears to me changed, as though he was going through a new phase of adjustment. In his eyes is the fire of war. I could not follow the excited arguments between him and Baba, who, unusually energetic, is holding a long discussion on his board in vernacular. One sentence in English left a definite picture in my mind. Baba's words were, "A man who cannot control action is not a man." Baba, who always gives us the ultimate outlook, no doubt wanted to enhance within all who were present the impetus to drive on with unflinching courage to the very end. That is aloofness from experience as life of subjective reaction. N from Nasik is another friend well acquainted with Baba's work. He tells about P, who again is put on a further test. Such are called the intervals of separation from Baba. Baba's message to P on this particular occasion is, "I suffer every second of my life untold tortures. You have to share. It is now the last phase. When you see me again, you will see me in my true self." When N is reporting all this in a low voice, Baba hears it and, turning round, writes on his board, "Gossip." To him, the pure, silent one, all these facts as told by us in our half-conscious, childish manner must appear as mere gossip. Nevertheless, Baba smilingly urges us to go on. Furthermore, we hear P has to go on a begging tour, that it will be very hard for him. He will be abused by many, but he will stand it bravely. To us, this seems natural.
On the 23rd of December, about 6 a.m., we take the train called the Flying Rani for Navsari. On the train, a young man called M, who is to be married to one of the D girls on the 27th of December, has come to Bombay especially to escort Baba, who is to be the guest of the bride's family. The D family of Navsari is one of the most influential and prominent Parsi families in the Baroda state. Since many generations, they were great landowners. These estates were gifts to the family for services rendered to the state of the former Maharaj of Gaikwad. The family can be traced back for 28 generations, having lived on that estate. During the evening, we are informed of the exceptional preparations for the marriage feast to be held in the home of the bride's famous uncle, a well-known author in Gujarati language, who for many months has been very ill. When Baba moves in the lives of men, it is always for some great warning. Baba's visit to Navsari is to call for a soul. He goes to see the dying man to ordain in him the divine help to help him on the divine will, to help him on through the redeeming transgression. Later on, while discussing among ourselves some subtle subjects, suddenly Baba, with the speed of lightning, interrupts the waste in exertion in our minds, making the following statement on selfless service. God, as God alone, is not consciously man, and man as man alone is not consciously God. The God-man is consciously both God and man, so the God-man is both Lord and the servant of the universe. Lord in the state of helping all souls towards reality, servant as continuously bearing the burden of all. To serve him who serves all is serving the universe. Selfless service and love are twin divine qualities. Only the one who loves can serve. Serve your beloved God-man, and you are serving your own self in every other self. The service he exacts is for your own spiritual benefit, but this service must be spontaneous, willing, wholehearted, unconditional, and not expecting any reward. His service is an ordeal which tries body, mind, and spirit, or else wherein would the perfection of serving lie if it were to be easy and at one's convenience? The body suffers, mind is tormented, but the spirit of the selfless server of the Master experiences the bliss of satisfaction.
Only the one who has can renounce. A king giving up everything and becoming a beggar is his true renunciation. And so only the one who, without any question and regardless of consequences, serves the God-man really serves. Otherwise, it would be just like paid labor.
Jai Baba. So we'll, Judy, we had one call. We were wondering whether it would be possible if we moved the meeting to 2:30 instead of 3. If you're there, she may not be there. Okay, I should have put it on pause.
2:30 works for me.
Okay, great. So I think we'll announce that and do that next week. We appreciate that. And we decided to start with the readings of Norina's articles and then read from the gift. So we'll now go to reading from the gift. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit and from where we.
I'm going to read on page 97, if you have the book, something to me that was always key as far as the mystical language. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's one page. To love is to transmute the will so that you bring to life the God in experience. When I give to man the real experience of love, it will reveal to him who I am and what I am, what I can do, and the purpose for which I do what I can do will be shown in the changed man who shall be free from all prejudice. When what I say and do revitalizes in you the aspiration to grow in spirituality. This also shall be shown by me within you through abundant experience. To be able to believe me, open your heart. Do not allow your heart to be obscured by giving to the head any imaginary motives to argue. Rest in me. Be selflessly detached when you are consciously experiencing unqualified confidence in my divinity. Be sure I have come to this world to achieve the new wonder of spiritual resurrection. I put into you the desire to use your intellect to serve me. That service will initiate in you and in the world a new rhythm of pure and selfless love. How I achieved this wonder of spiritual resurrection is no more a secret. I am here real and dynamically active in your higher self. I am the self immutable in all creatures.
So continuing with the introduction to the gift by Charles Wilson and Christopher. Chris?
Can I just ask one question? Is everybody's screen jumping, or is it just mine?
Let's see, I'm going to stop share and start again.
Mine was jumping also, Wendy.
Oh,
Okay.
Let's see. We are recording, right? And is that better?
Rosalie, thank you for reading what you just read. It was profound.
Yeah. It kind of really shed light on the prior reading too. So we're continuing with the introduction by Charles and Christopher to the gift. And whenever
you.
is it jumping still?
What we
No.
have now on the left-hand side is several different pages.
Yeah,
we
but
have it too.
Can we get them out so that
I'm not sure. Let me see.
we never had them before?
Let's see, why did that happen?
But it's not
Bear
jumping.
with me, and I'll try and get them out for next time. I don't
Yeah,
but
it's not a big
print
deal.
is good size, so the print is good size.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
There's one. Yeah. Whenever Norina was planning a public lecture, she would notify Baba in India, and he often responded with a cable blessing the event. For example, on April 24th, 1943, she received a cable from him saying, "Blessings, Astor Hotel lecture." And in 1945, he cabled, "My blessings for the 3 public discourses." She wrote extensively to Baba about her method of speaking through thought transmission. And on April 12, 1944, while Baba was in seclusion, she received a letter from his disciple Chanji, F.H. Chanji, encouraging her unique way of delivering Baba's message to the United States audiences. Dear Norina, your letters to dear Baba have all been duly received. How happy it makes the beloved, you need not be told. You know and feel that within the self, that is the beloved in you. The expression of the depth of love and height of devotion is poured out therein, bespeak the intensity of a heart that throbs only for the dearly beloved, lives in him and for him alone. The beloved is indeed very happy to know of the way you become his mouthpiece and bestir and surcharge the atmosphere with his love and being wherever you move. It needs no sanction, since you are entirely under his guidance, speaking of him and for him to all who truly need his love, grace, and guidance. What is it but the greatest miracle of love that you have dedicated your very life and existence to the sacred cause of the beloved Lord, devoting every moment in his service for the spiritual regeneration of mankind, now in the throes of distress and destruction.
No life could be better lived, no existence better spared, no love better expressed, no service better rendered. Be you truly blessed, more and more, Nur Jahan, the beloved of the Lord. May you abide forever in his infinite heart, pouring out his love to struggling humanity, now in the greatest need of this divine torchbearer of humanity, to select his own torch for shedding the light and luster of love and understanding to a world now groping in the dark, hankering after happiness that is illusory and bringing misery in its wake. While the dear Master continues his humanitarian and spiritual activities here in absolute silence and seclusion, unknown to any of his real identity, his greatest medium and mouthpiece in you convey his message of love to the civilized world on the other side, instilling in them the new light and understanding, and making them conscious of the love divine that will guide them aright in the spirit of selfless service and brotherhood of humanity, the principal characteristics for the spiritual awakening and unfoldment that is to bring about the universal spiritual upheaval and renovation in the near future. Though Chanji writes that Norina's activities needed no sanction, Meher Baba did, in fact, express his written approval of her thought transmission. His message came as a result of some tensions that had arisen in the late spring of 1944, when apparently someone complained to Baba about the content of Norina's lectures, perhaps accusing her of delving into political issues. Norina became aware of this and immediately wrote the following to Baba in India. In your discourses, there is no other subject to be discussed or brought to deeper understanding than the one on spirituality as the only real science of life. The theme I am so eager to bring to the minds here in the West is the same that I have earned to understand when with you in the East for 5 years. It is that all is portion and part of the never-ending evolutionary plan, and that ignorance as well as knowledge of deeper and higher truth is more or less ephemeral understanding of the one and only pure state of being, which is in you so great, so real, and so tangible.
Baba responded with a cable sent to Norina on July 6, 1944. Your letter of explanation received. Don't worry. I know your unbounded love and perfect trust in me, for whom you are working with full dedication of very life. Continue your spiritual work for me with greater force. Mayor Baba Irani. He affirmed this message with a second cable dated August 8, 1944. Letter of 18th received. All is clear. You know I trust you implicitly for my spiritual work. Love, blessings all. Mayor Baba Irani. 2 years later, in a cable sent to Norina on February 17, 1946, Baba again expressed approval for her work for him. I sanction and bless the message of January 31st regarding your work. Norina through thought order, and Jean through intellectual fervor, and Elizabeth through sacrificial behavior, and Malcolm through full faith endeavor, and Nadine through life surrender, and Marky through arts maneuver, and few others who with love remember all are working more or less for me. Mayor Baba Irani. In addition to her public lectures, Norina also put thought transmission to use on a smaller scale. She regularly transmitted Baba's discourses at intimate gatherings held at a studio adjoining the New York apartment. Moreover, on a daily basis, quite apart from any sort of formal occasion, she received Baba's messages and recorded them on paper. She either sat at a typewriter and wrote them out herself, or else dictated them to someone who recorded them in longhand, usually Nadine and later Phyllis Frederick. Often these pieces of thought transmission were intended as messages for specific individuals, especially the other women living in the New York apartment, Elizabeth, Nadine, Phyllis, and Adele Woken. Norina received and recorded instructions to herself. The volume of these written communications was staggering. Each day, Norina compiled pages of material, always dealing with some spiritual point, but often addressing practical issues as well, such as living arrangements in the apartment, food, schedule, and visitors.
Norina often sent copies of the thought transmission messages to Baba in India for his confirmation. One particular series of written exchanges illuminates this practice, and again evidences Baba's approval of Norina's method of working for him. While the three women were living together in New York City, Nadine suffered from a degenerative muscle weakening condition that was to lead to her death in 1946. On December 9th, 1944, Norina presented her with the following message, transmitted through thought transmission. It is written, therefore, as a letter from Baba to Nadine. Say never again that you are guilty, responsible for your present state of health. I, as the divine presence, say to you that you are no more responsible for your qualities and that you can never again accumulate samskaric impressions or experiences that you are bound to have because you think and act in present lifetime. I repeat, never again think that the sanskaras that you naturally bring on to yourself as long as you are in this world can destroy your spiritual self-existence and retard your spiritual advancements and your final realization of the truth, which is due to you and which I have promised you verbally in India. The sanskaric state of you or anybody else in my circle is not of importance because I make the immediate clearing and cleansing of these sanskaric imprints on your old human self. I do not do that with those who do not belong to my circle. Be sure that you do belong to my circle. Your health condition is not as bad as you make it with your fervid imagination. Stand your state of health, no matter how long it has to be endured, till the day I break my silence and am physically with you. I care for you as a human creature, and I love you individually. That is to say, I have affection for you. I love you personally, and my unbound divine love brings to you and whosoever on earth my spiritual help. That should alone make you happy and should console you to have to stand the very small ordeal of the weakened organism. Norina mailed a copy of this message to Baba in India with a cover letter. After describing the poor state of Nadine's health, she asked Baba to confirm the above piece of thought transmission, telling him, "We try to cheer her up and never contradict her, as all thought reaction makes her confused and terribly hectic and anguished. It's her crucial period of life, and we stand by with your grace that is unending. That is the main difficulty today. All else you tell us exactly how to handle." I send a copy of the dictation that you made to help her, and it helped. Have the mercy to certify this dictation of yours as she cares, that it be made more certain still, that it is right what you say. Please take the trouble to send a cable saying message dated 9/12 is good, etc. It's hard otherwise, beloved, sacred, holy friend. All Christmas love to you and all. To you all that is and was and ever was, I lay at your adored feet. Norina.
Baba responded with a cable to Norina dated January 20th, 1945. Message dated 9th December is quite right. Blessing you, Norina, Elizabeth, Mayor Baba Irani. Norina's work of thought transmission played a central role in the development of Mayor Baba's home in the West, Maher Spiritual Center at Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Beginning in the mid-1940s, she and Elizabeth frequently traveled from New York to Myrtle Beach, overseeing the center's development. Through thought transmission, Norina communicated Baba's instructions about where a path should be cut or a building placed. These messages also contained meticulously detailed orders regarding the activities of those visiting or working at the center. June 3rd, 1944, for example, a thought transmission message received through Norina instructed 3 individuals to explore, directed by Elizabeth. The shortest route from the cabins to the ocean. I advise you to go to the right, take an axe, compass, knife, and lunch tomorrow. Cut path, make it short, and if necessary, bridge the way. If that takes more than 3/4 of an hour, it is too much. Half an hour to the beach is enough. Take bathing suits along and take a good dip. The extensive use of thought transmission seemed to take an ever-increasing physical and emotional toll on Norina. Some of Baba's messages through her imply that the practice could expose her to severe physical and mental dangers. In one such communication addressed to Elizabeth and Nadine in the early 1940s, Baba, through Norina, insisted that these 2 women and others of Norina's friends occupy the front row of chairs at an upcoming lecture, since you are the neutralizing force for her own good. Warning them of the necessity of doing as directed, the message continued. There is to be a crowd of curious demons and ill-willed listeners of all opposing social groups in this city. No danger is greater than the selfish listener to someone like me and a disciple. A disciple is exposed to the danger, not me. The danger is the brainstorm of internal order that can cause short circuit and make the brain go blast, and be it vulgarly said, mad, or she be off her head. Therefore, I always warn you, it has to be done as I say. Tell this to Consuelo Cides, and also you both remember to be gentle and not to speak ill of Norina from now on. Should she really go off one day, cable me this. Norina very ill. Help us and give directions. This is all for the day. It will be not too bad if it happens, but it is said in the Bible, the ones who are dear to the Lord suffer most. Meher Baba. I sign and wish this to be kept by Nadine in her purse always.
By 1946, Norina's health had deteriorated rapidly. She suffered from an enlarged heart and high blood pressure, but the affliction that affected her life most deeply was severe depression. Her activities came to a near standstill. Baba called her and Elizabeth to India in 1947, where he paid special attention to Norina's condition, making sure that she received plenty of rest and did not become agitated, since excitement always worsened her delicate physical and emotional state. In 1948, Elizabeth had to leave India for a period to tend to affairs in the United States, including the center. Norina, remaining in India, wrote her the following letter, making reference to the period of ill health that she had endured. Now that in this period of Baba's working in the world, you have to go back to the USA alone, and I have to be here to receive the news and correspond with you in behalf of Baba. Let's embrace and wish ourselves well. I say bon retour, and you say to me, keep as well as you are, and tell me all about everything. Don't get stuck at old memories. However, remember that during the 7 years of tribulations shared and endured in good comradeship, we have gained one thing in common, and that is to be head and heart surrendered to Him, who is our common good in this earth of shade and light.
The fact of my illness should be well understood by you, being sensitive as you are. You see deeper than the other dear ones who shared in the temporary despondency and depression in my life. When I asked Baba that he should explain his mysterious deep way to work in the heart and head of the disciple who has given the life to him, he said, "Don't worry. I shall give them all explanations in time and in my way. They will understand. I shall explain the dark journey of the soul." When I arrived in India, harassed and uncertain whether I should live and die for this world and all over again, and whether I should ever enjoy the fruit of all the suffering through His grace, he said these words, pointed out on the board, and some of these statements were cabled to me to the USA. You must lose in order to win. You have lost something to gain everything. Through my love, you shall be redeemed and resurrected. I am the ocean that absorbs all what is impure and pure as well. When I was crying, having lost hope to ever be rehabilitated in my old conscience, he smiled and passed unto me light, which is the embrace of love that passeth all understanding. He revealed to me the deep significance of it all. His embrace, when he opens his arms as the Father, Mother, and Christ, cannot to be described. It is the light in its eternally merciful play, giving mercy, compassion. Real feeling of truth is love that he can make us experience. He often repeated in those heavenly, peaceful, and comforting days at Satara, forget everything. Nothing is. All is wiped out. Live for me. Do all for me. obey implicitly to all I say and order. Love me. Well, I think we'll end there. Jai Baba. You have anything to add? Jai Baba.
Oh, I want to, I wanted to sing that. It's all very simple.
After that heaviness, maybe we'll go.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is
So,
all very simple. It is all very real. It is all to be in you and in me, in one all act of joy when I in you realize in you, one in I as me. See this, and in this be happy. See this, and in this be real and good to others. I love doing that.
Jai Baba. So next week we'll meet at 2:30.
2:30?
2:30. We're going to move it up a half. That work for you, Wendy?
Yep, I think so. I think I'm done all my tests. I'm hoping anyway.
Very good. Well,
So you're moving it 2:30?
Thursdays.
Eastern time.
Right, okay.
Judy, you're looking good. No matter what.
Mama's game. But really, it's lovely to have the things that we're reading now that we've had access readily to for the last decade or two. After the Mystical Life series, it just puts it in a context that is significant and helpful. I'm glad you're offering these readings because I probably for each of us, certainly for me, the more I'm exposed to all of this from whichever direction,
Yeah.
It becomes more clear, more profound, more simple and
Yeah.
joyful, and all of
Very
the
real.
it, and yeah, it's like these links were all happening, and it's all his doing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're getting to share this on the anniversary of his New Life Day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Started the new life and what the significance of that is with all, I mean, these messages through Norina that Baba gave are so central to every aspect of his advent. And, he said that his new life would go on endlessly. Was that the right word? Even if there's no one to live it.
Yeah.
And so and that's all woven in to what we heard today, but what we've been hearing now for the last 5 or 6 years at this point. Yeah, we're blessed. We're blessed to be able to
Really.
share this together.
Well, yeah.
So this is from Norina's book, correct? I'm sorry.
What we were just reading, that's from Norina's gift.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Right.
Yes, I have that book. I love it.
Yeah.
I love how my well-worn book, see, a heart has formed around Norina.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, this book has been used.
Yeah. I wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah, and it's just in our personal experience too, the perspective of Norina's articles and what Baba was doing through her, it really expands all the, it's an additional compendium of Baba's work that sheds, that has an enlivening quality on it. It gives out a new perspective or additional perspective on some of the many things we're so familiar with.
Right.
And it all seems to be illumined by a general rely on looking to each one's internal intuitive experience. People are more confident in their own experience, and so it's so we find people. We just were singing them last night. There was a birthday celebration here for October birthdays, and you know, we sang a few of those songs, and people like them, you know.
Yeah, I tell you, there is joy in them because it never fails. If I do that, whoa, it's like, whoa, just wow, that moment of fun. Yeah.
Enjoy the week ahead, and we look forward coming in again 2:30 next week, next Thursday.
Yep, got it written down here. Thank
Again,
you.
you guys. Jai
Okay.
Baba.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba.
I want to do this one.
Postscript.
I am the new Christ. You have waited and waited for me for a long time. I am the real guide. You will know my reality through direct experience. You will know me, you will see me, you will feel me. This divine revelation shall be my grace. I love this. You are born to love the living God. Oh, why didn't you say so?
I like that. I like that. Beautiful.